Hello, me lovelies. Ed, exhausted out of my mind bud here. Back with an update on my top 5 10k running shoes of 2021. In a similar vein to my recent top 5 5k running shoes, this time we have an update for the 6.2 miles or 10k distance. What are my top 10,000 meter crushing cushioned crusaders? Before we get into the main part of the video guys, if you haven't done so already, help the channel out by first picking up some merch, secondly hitting that subscribe button, and also clicking the bell below for notifications of when I roll them out for you. And it really helps the channel out too if you give this video a thumbs up like, but also share it with your running buddies. Danke schön. First up, this list has a couple of honourable mentions that didn't quite make it into the top 5. I think the Streak 7, which is now sadly unavailable for purchase, a great top responsive but very low stack race shoe. If you want to go on those 10k exploits, it had great grip, low weight and a really up for it feel. Only missing off the list really due to its lack of availability now in late 2021. Another shoe for your consideration. It's gotta be, if you can find a pair, maybe you can utilise the Pegasus Turbo 2. A worthy inclusion, but very hard to come by these days. Ticks all the boxes for me in terms of the right amount of cushion, the right amount of stack. I ran some really fast 10Ks back in that shoe, even on some quite muddy surfaces. So yeah, the Pegasus Turbo 2, if you can find it at a discount, I think it can still do a great job over the 10k distance. So, shoe number 1 in my top 5 10k shoes in no particular order has got to be the Endorphin Speed 2. Some of you runners will no doubt enjoy the slightly denser cushion offered by the Endorphin Speed 2's Power Run PB midsole material. On that 6.2 mile distance, I think it's pretty much perfect. The Speed 2 does all of the things that the original did with a similar upper, and of course that slightly more forgiving nylon plate. Everybody loves that winning P-backs and nylon plate combination. I'm really surprised that Nike haven't bothered to implement it in one of their shoes. I think that makes this one a worthy 10k trainer and race shoe, and as such it wins a spot here on my top 5. Very much a road shoe though, as the outsole's the Achilles heel, I suppose, of the Speed 2. Isn't my favourite grip really for anything else other than road. Perhaps not quite as far away from the competition as it was last year, where it was probably shoe of the year. Still a great shoe for your earth credits, especially if you can pick it up slightly discounted. So, first shoe up on my list is the Speed 2 from SAUCONY. Next up on my Raucous Race Roadsters list is the Rebel 2 from New Balance. Some people find this shoe too cushioned for daily use, but I've got to disagree. I think as the distance goes up and up, I think the use case of the Rebel 2 also increases. I like the fuel cell midsole, always have done, but the foam here seems very different to that found in the first version of the shoe. It seems a little more forgiving this time around. I think that perhaps doesn't suit everybody. I know Tim Gross finds this one far too cushioned for his liking. I just really love the very minimal upper here that we have on the Rebel 2. Very light feel here that's given New Balance the chance to focus on the midsole material, and that midsole stack is just right really for me for 10k and up to the half marathon distance, I would suggest. Just a bit more usable than the previous version. That one very much felt like a pace shoe. This one's got a little bit more about it. I think that will mean it appeals to a wider range of runners out there. Certainly great at paces up and around my 10k sort of effort, and the Rebel 2 just ticks many boxes for me. That means it has to have a place in my top 5 10k shoes for 2021. Just a bit sad that there's not been many opportunities of races to test this shoe out in its natural habitat. Probably not one I'm going to consider for the Western Supermare 10k Christmas cracker. That's just not going to happen. I don't think this one's ideally suited to the beach and to sand. After many an enjoyable mile in the Adidas Adizero Adios 6 this year, I think it has to have a place on my top 5 10k road race shoes. This one really is the pick of the pops for me. Godlike grip in the outsole, with more bite than a lovingly restored Jaguar E-Type. Some proper Adidas heritage in this shoe as well, with those suede hits in the upper, and some spice from the three-stripe brand's football boots of yesteryear, like the World Cup and the Copa Mundial. There's even a little bit of the Samba in here, I think you'll agree. My big love for this Adidas banger is its wallet-friendly price. That just makes me love the shoe more and more and more every time I look at it. I think from a value perspective, it's really hard to dislike this shoe. I mean, you can pick it up at its retail price of 110, or right now I found it for about £84. Very hard to beat at that price. I found it a real winner we're at threshold pace, that slightly more sizable midsole stack really starts swinging like a pendulum. And it also feels fine at slightly slower paces that you might use on a daily basis. One for those that want a shoe that can pretty much do it all, well, almost all I suppose, and smash out a super fast 10k in it as well. So for a 10k race, why the heck not for the Adidas Adizero Adios Zex Continental. I've seen loads of people running 10Ks in the Vaporfly Next Percent 2 over the last few months. Well, I see people even running part runs in that shoe now. Do what you feel is right, of course, everybody. Who am I to tell you not to wear a certain shoe? If you bought it, enjoy it. I mean, if you've shelled out 225 Earth credits for a shoe, put it on your feet and just get out there. Have fun in it. Why not use it for distances that are shorter than the half marathon or the marathon that it's intended for? My half marathon PB's in this shoe and it's looking pretty battered now, but I think it deserves a place on the top 5 10k race shoes for this year. It really is battered, this one. It does look like I've poured some blood, sweat and tears into it. It kind of smells like it too. Mega light and super forgiving. We all know the popularity of the ZoomX Pebax material that we have in the midsole here. It's world renowned. Why not use the shoe at 10k? It's geared up as a quick super light race shoe. I don't see why it can't serve a purpose at 10k. I've really softened up to that over the course of the last year. People grab them and use them for training on a daily basis, maybe helping them navigate across difficult training blocks for those faster sessions or maybe even intervals or repeats. As I say, I'm softening up to using this shoe at lower distances. I think a lot of other runners are as well. So a place here really is assured, I think, for the Vaporfly Next Percent 2 in my top 5 10k race shoes. Considering the pounding this one's had as well, it's holding up really, really well. I'll get it up to 100 miles soon and let you know how it feels. Okay, I've got one more left for you, bit of a wild card. The Tempo Next Percent. Okay, hear me out on this one, guys. This is the heaviest shoe in my top 5 today. I'll throw the weights and everything up onto the screen right now so you can check that out. I think when you're moving quickly, your cadence is picking up higher than your half marathon or marathon pace, that you're getting well into your threshold zone, and as such you can afford to redline things a little bit, can't you? We've got a shorter time running, it's going to be that little bit closer to your 5k pace. As such, I think that weight starts to become not so much of a worry. If you're carrying around loads of extra weight over the half marathon or marathon distance, then I can understand it, but I don't think this shoe's going to disadvantage you up to 10k. I think it could be crazy fun, in fact, to run a 10k race on the road in this shoe. Certainly an aggressive shoe with some stack there in the heel and almost unapologetic use of React there as well to provide a bit of stability. I think it's a shoe that just demands you give quite a lot of energy into it to get the best out of it. Not one you can really hold back on, I think, in this shoe. You have to give it your all. So a wild card entry for me over the 10k distance. I think it could be manic fun in the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent. Do you agree with my crazy selections here, guys? You know, I always like to try and put something in that's a little bit different to get you thinking, to spark some reaction, like the blue touch paper. Do you think I picked out some real winners here, or have I completely lost my marbles? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Hey, the right arm again. It's getting there, it's getting there. You can also let me know your favourite 10k race shoe as well. I'd be very keen to see your selections. You know what to do. Just in case you're wondering, there's a good 46mm of stack height here in my size 11 UK of the Tempo Next Percent. This kind of makes the Prime X look not that crazy. A quick musical interlude for you. I've been enjoying the Rebuilding Better Worlds album from London Electricity. These are remixes of the album from 2019 by the band, and absolutely worth checking out if you like your drum and bass nice and crisp. Some wonderful beats here. Nothing too distorted or aggressive or angry, just some really nice flowing stuff. Could be an ideal for your next run. I like the tracks The Prescription Is Love and Lonely Sirens. Some really nice production on pretty much every single track on the album. Absolutely worth checking out. They got so many different people here remixing. I think pretty much every track's remixed by a different artist or a different producer. Go and check it out. Rebuilding Better Worlds by London Electricity. That is just about all for me for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Always appreciated. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications when we roll those new videos out for you. And it really helps us out if you give this video a thumbs up like, but also share it with your running buddies. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you